next year? All right, careful what you ask for. We're going to do it, though. It's a good idea. All right.
Questions for Joe? B-Rob?
Hey, Joe. Obviously, a first full summer planning for everything here, and then pretty big trade for you yesterday. Your thoughts on Drew and just how, if anything, changes for you heading into the season there from a planning perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think things will change a little bit from the beginning. Obviously going into the offseason and most of the preseason having a general idea of what the roster is and then, changing it a little bit. But I think it's changed for good. I think both were good. I think the roster before and the roster now is good. And so just more focusing on each guy's strengths. And obviously Drew has high character, plays with a great mindset and has the reputation, of being a tough defender and somebody that can really change the game on both ends of the floor. So just looking to plug that into, kind of the roster that we have.
Joe, I know it just happened and you've got to go through camp and see, but have you given any thought initially to how you might start the games? Would you go with Drew and Derrick in the backcourt, or would you go, double big?
Yeah, I mean, we put thought into that. I think with the roster that we have and the season, I thought something that was good for us last year was our ability to go back and forth of double big and playing small. And so put thought into it. Haven't really come across kind of what the best way to go about that is yet. But I want to be as open-minded as we can, knowing we have a lot of flexibility, in the backcourt and in the front court.
Joe, after spending the whole offseason just learning from last year, evaluating, I guess, what are some of the lessons and things you've grown over this summer?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton, right? And I think we'll be able to talk more about those, as the season goes on, saying like, hey, this is what I thought about that last year, and this is kind of how we're approaching it this year. But there's been so many. Initially, I would say, the differentiating between the beginning of the season, middle of the season. So how you kind of navigate different points of the season. And I think there's always going to be ups and downs. I think each part of the season has a theme to it. And just going back and say, okay, here's why we were this the first 20 games of the year. Here's why we were this at the middle of the season. What were we like post All-Star break? What were we like the last 20 games of the season? What were we like heading into the postseason? How do we handle each round of the postseason? And so just really trying to develop a mindset and a perspective throughout each journey of our season, knowing that we have to, get better every single day and just kind of go your way and when they don't go your way. So just really excited to have the data available from last year and then being able to pull and apply that when necessary. And then at the same time, being able to just reinvent and express myself as a coach and then allow a space for our team to express who they are and then create a shared identity, create shared ownership, and a shared vision for where we want to be towards the end of the year.
Joe in the middle, 3 rows back. Obviously, as Brad said, anytime you can add a player like Drew Holiday, you go and do it. What was your reaction when the news broke that you guys landed Drew, especially with the team that was built up in Milwaukee that for sure you guys will likely see in the playoffs?
Just grateful and open-minded. And, anytime you can add character and mindset, I think it's a win. And so we have that in our building. We've had that in our building, and then we've now added that into our building. And so, this isn't about like he has to come here and be anything other than who he is and make us better on both ends of the floor and then also complement everybody else. And that's kind of the theme of the season for us is like, do we have the ability to bring the best out of each other, to play team basketball, and at the same time have to sacrifice. We're all going to have to give up small bits and pieces of ourselves to get to where we want to get to, and each person's role is going to look different at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, at the beginning of the game, at the end of the game, and it's not getting caught up in anything other than that. It is like, how do we impact winning? How does what we do have an effect on the guy next to us? And, can we create that shared ownership for a long period of time? Can we be the more physical, the more connected, the more unselfish? Every media day, every team starts out saying the same thing. Every coach is saying the same thing. Everybody's excited. Everyone feels like they got a chance, blah, blah, blah. And can you maintain that through the ebbs and flows and the variables that you come across during an NBA season?
Joe, with your new assistant coaches, have you kind of divvied out, is somebody going to be handling more offense? Is somebody going to be handling more defense? For lack of a better term, like a defensive coordinator. What are the responsibilities going to be for your assistants?
Yeah, that was a really good, first of all, credit and thanks to the staff from last year. I thought under the circumstances, they did the absolute noble, loyal, best job they could at making it a great environment, for us to try to achieve a goal. Happy that they, got the promotions or the situations or the roles that they wanted. One of the most fun things for me was going through the process of developing a staff and, surrounding myself around, people that can complement the players, can complement, who I am as a coach, and can also work together. And so we kind of took this approach of like tribal leadership of, communicating and working in teams of 3s and 4s instead of one-on-one. And what you can see in a lot of staff sometimes is, a head coach might build a relationship with one coach because of the way he thinks, and it could be a like-minded thought. And then you sometimes neglect someone else who's working by themselves, or you'll have 2 or 3 people working together and they're coming up with an idea, but then if it doesn't go their way, then they're kind of affected by it. And so we really wanted to how could we build a shared vision? How could we build communication? How could we build ownership? And so we have an offensive team, and then within that offensive team, each person has an individual role, and then we have a defensive team, and within that team, each person has an individual role, and the communication that they go through together is super important. And so that by the time we get to a full team meeting, we've already had a group of people argue, go over, talk about their philosophy, do what they want to do, and then it's my job to tell them no. But it's my job to listen to them. And so I think just creating that environment of that tribal leadership, that togetherness, that ownership, it's something that I'm really excited to do. And our staff has done a great job this offseason. We came into the offseason wanting to build an environment of work ethic, an environment of teaching and developing. And I thought our staff really, our staff and our players really springboarded that environment.
Joe, how do you deal with the expectations, the championship expectations, at the same time make the leap from year 1 to year 2? And was there something you picked up or did this summer to kind of relieve some of the pressure, or to change things now that you're the permanent head coach, you're not going in, you have that security? Was there something you did differently?
Well, not necessarily different, but to answer your first question about how you handle expectations, no one's going to have higher expectations than I have for myself and then that we have as a player. And we know the end goal is to win a championship. That's why everybody does what they do. That's why we spend the entire season away from our families. That's why we have positive emotions, negative emotions. At the end of the day, it's we're all trying to achieve something that's really, really hard. And so the expectations are the expectations. I always say, I'd rather be in a city like this that has high expectations instead of going somewhere where there are no expectations. So I coached at a level where when you lost the game, it wasn't on the bottom line and nobody cared. And that was fun, but at the end of the day, you didn't get that connection. And so to me, the expectation should be there. And the second piece of I didn't do anything different as much as for me, I try to grow just as much of the person as I do as a coach. And I think for coaches and players, who you are comes out on the court. And just putting yourself in a constant environment of growth, of learning, pushing yourself to the highest of mental, physical, or emotional limits can try and simulate what it's like trying to go through an NBA season. And going through an NBA season is really difficult. It's really hard, but it's fun. And so can you simulate that in the off season?
Joe, you've used the term mindset a couple of times now. Can you kind of sum up what mindset you want your team to have?
Number one, we just have to be the toughest, most physical, most open-minded team. To me, mindset is all about how you interpret something that's happening and then how you respond to it. And each and every situation gives you an opportunity to act a certain way. And so we have to have a collective approach of toughness, of having that mindset and having the togetherness. All the things that every company in the world is trying to adhere to on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, it's what's our daily approach? And it doesn't have to be nice all the time. We don't have to be friends. I want us to be, extremely, extremely competitive, extremely, extremely tough on both ends of the floor, and extremely, extremely connected.
Marcus had been a guy who's been willing to take on leadership vocally and so forth. Who do you hope kind of fills that role? Who do you kind of envision it? And is Holiday part of that?
Everyone's a part of it. It has to come from everybody. It's not, everyone has to communicate. It's not just on one person to communicate and everybody else not to. And I think sometimes when you get into like coaches talking about we need to communicate better, there's two pieces to that. There's like the communication piece, and then there's the reciprocal piece of like responding to the communication. And, there has to be both of those things. And it's not just one person's job. So Drew's a part of it, but so is Jayson, so is Jaylen, so is Al. Everybody, we have to be able to communicate verbally, non-verbally, body language. All of our emotions, we have to communicate those for us to grow as a team.
Joe, other players have talked about rebuilding that defensive identity this year. Jaylen, Jayson want to make all defense. You guys even played a little bit of zone in the summer league, it looked like. How do you kind of see yourself forming that defensive identity, and could you go to some of those zone looks this year?
The defensive identity just starts with the mindset. There was a lot of times last year where we were a great defensive team, and then there were times where we didn't make that our foundation. And so at the end of the day, you just have the proper mindset. Like, defense is what gets you in the door. Defense is the admission ticket. But it's toughness, it's mindset, it's the ability to just be physical on both ends of the floor. So you just have to do it. Like, you don't really have a choice. And that's something I can get better as a coach. I think I was talking about this the other day. Like, when something's so obvious to me, I have a tendency to not emphasize it as much. And it's like, maybe it's because I sucked at offense, so I had to play defense. Nobody had to remind me to play defense because I couldn't do anything else. And it's like, if you want to be great, you have to play defense, and you have to be just a mother, like, on that end of the floor. But there are times where I don't always say that because it's obvious. But I think that's the thing that I learned this year is it's not that obvious, and so you just have to talk about it all the time. And defense and toughness gets you in the door.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Everybody.
And we're back. All right. Good morning.
Questions for Al?
Al, obviously a retooled roster. Marcus, you have 4 guys gone, a couple new guys coming in. What are your feelings here watching all the player movement and getting started with this new team?
Yeah, just a roller coaster. Just a lot going on, and now we can, just focus on the season and put some last stuff behind. But yeah, it's been, it's been a lot. All this time just kind of waiting, and then, at some point we thought we were done, and then obviously the news breaks yesterday, and and now that we're settled, we can, now we can move forward and prepare for the season.
You are like Rob's maybe biggest fan on the team. Can you just talk about like losing him, especially last second, and then on the flip side, getting to play with a guy like Holiday?
Rob is somebody that since his rookie year, I've seen him grow, and so grateful to been able to play with him, and he's such a great teammate, about the right things, trying to play the right way, super unselfish, and he's somebody that I just really enjoyed playing with. It was a lot of fun, and he's a great guy, and I just obviously wish him nothing but the best, moving forward, and he is professional. I know that it's hard for him, but I know that that he'll be fine. And then having the opportunity to play with Drew, somebody that I respect so much and look from afar with admiration, just the type of player that he is, the type of person that he is. He's about the right things, and he is about winning and competing. I'm really excited about that, and developing that relationship and chemistry with him, and moving forward with it. So he's somebody that I just would have never imagined to be playing next to him, but now that he's here, I'm excited.
Brad mentioned that Kristaps has been in for the last 2 weeks. Just your initial impressions on him, and how do you think you'll fit next to him and alongside him?
On Kristaps? Honestly, pretty unbelievable watching him go through workouts, play. I played against him over the years and things like that, but when you really see a guy like that, he's really 7'3". Like maybe even a little taller, and just the way that he moves, his feel for the game, and some of the things that he brings. I'm just really excited. We've been here already for a few weeks, putting in work, trying to get to know each other, develop that chemistry. Very excited for what's ahead for him. Because he is, that player that's I feel like it's gonna have a big impact.
Al, you've said in the past you prefer to start. Is that still the case? And have you talked to Joe about how the trade might impact your role this year?
Sorry, what'd you say?
You said in the past that you prefer to be in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still the case going into this year? And have you talked to Joe about what the role might be after the trade?
No, I mean it's it's been a lot going on with everything, but for me, we have such a special group here. We're all ready to put in the work to get started, and to put ourselves in the best position. So that's something that he has to, Joe will have to address and determine. but for me, I'm excited to be in this position and to have this opportunity with our team.
Thank you, Al.
All right.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Jaylen. It's been a pretty eventful offseason. Back here to your right. Pretty eventful offseason for you. Lots of videos, you and Pierce and Garnett, and all of that. But especially the workouts with Jayson. Can you kind of walk us through this summer? What was different for you this summer? How did those workouts go?
I think they went great. No different than any other workouts. I think we've worked out in the summer before, but nobody was paying attention to it then. But I guess everybody's paying attention to it now. But they were fine. Got in with Drew and JT, and just started building. Just trying to get better, trying to improve together. Trying to work on our chemistry and be better for you guys.
So how many times have you and Jayson worked out before? How many times have you and Jayson worked out before where you say people weren't paying attention? I mean, people are thinking like this is the first time, but it wasn't.
I don't think it was. No, it definitely wasn't. We've been playing together for a long time, so we worked out in the summertime, summer workouts, especially at younger points in our career. A lot of things were like different kind of in the last years. It was COVID. It was weird kind of off seasons, maybe not as much, but, we've definitely been in the gym before. But, it's always good to show it, because if you don't post it, it didn't happen,
Jaylen middle, 3 rows back. Obviously, you've matched up with Drew before in the past, in the playoffs, in the regular season. First, what was your reaction to the news of you guys adding Drew to this team? What did it tell you about ownership, about you and Jayson? And also, we look at his resume, 5-time All-NBA defense. We know he's a stud. But from someone that's played against and matched up with him, what is Drew Holiday like as a defender?
Drew is fantastic. I know a tremendous amount of respect from Drew, from somebody who he's guarded and I've had to guard. It's just he plays with a certain force that you could just feel. He's just super solid, man, and just as a competitor, he's an assassin. So to be playing alongside, I think it would be a tremendous honor.
Jaylen, hey, what's up? Right in the middle. Just the your reaction to when you found out about the trade with Kristaps Porziņģis coming to Boston. What does that do for you guys? What does he bring to the table? And of course, the downside of that is seeing someone like Marcus head over to Memphis. Just what was that like going through that? And now that you're a couple of months removed from that.
When it happened, my reaction, I didn't really have anything kind of to say. It was kind of like we was in limbo for a couple of days. I played with Smart for majority of my career. Smart is, regardless of what jersey he has on, that's still, my brother, and I feel the same way about Rob. So, to spend so much time, with guys, for people who don't kind of know and kind of can put it in perspective, it's like, going through high school and middle school with somebody, I played together with Smart for 7+ years, with Rob for, 6+. So it's like you kind of grew up with these guys. So for them not to be around is a little bit, weird, but everybody has a journey, and I wish those guys, I know those guys are going to do great in those places that they're at. But my reaction, your reaction is like kind of not in belief at first, and then reality kind of settles in, and you move forward.
Jaylen, what kind of things do you work on this summer, and what was it like after signing the contract? Did people react to you differently when people asked them to borrow money? What was the summer like as the highest paid player in the league, and what kind of things on the floor did you work on?
I thought it was a great summer. Obviously I launched some initiatives that I want to, talk more about at different points. But even with, the Black Wall Street and things like that, I've been a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people who want to get involved and help the community. The income disparity is something that, is important to a lot of people. Some are in this room that they know about it, want to improve it, want ways to learn and get involved. And I think I got a pretty good, idea and strategy how to bring that about. So this summer was filled with a lot of that. It was also filled with some amazing accomplishments, being able to go playing the big three, things like that. There's been a lot of stuff going on, so I've been grateful for the most part, and I'm excited for the new season.
My first question is, what did you think of Boulder? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, who would have thought?
Buff them up, Gary.
Who would have thought? Boulder, Colorado. Went to the game. It was a 10 a.m. game. I'm with D. White. I meet up until D. White invites me out, so I come with him. I meet up on campus. D. White's, he's drunk 10 a.m. in the morning.
There's altitude.
This is part of it's tailgating, it's college, so I'm with D. White, so I'm like, do as the Romans do, right? So, me and D. White had a great time. Boulder, Dion, what he's doing down there is fantastic. I invited him to a Celtics game, so maybe when their season is over, maybe he'll come up or come to a game or something like that. But what he's done with that program is amazing, because I've been to Boulder before that, and it didn't look like how it looked when I was there a couple of days ago. So we'll just say that.
Well, speaking of a cultural shift, though, this locker room has gone through a lot of change. How does your role change in that leadership void, and what mentality are you taking into this season?
Just stepping into it. I think, definitely. We got a lot of voices that are no longer with us. Blake, Grant, Smart, all very vocal guys. So I think definitely hearing my voice a little bit more this season, JT's voice a little bit more this season. Also making sure, we all are on the same page. We all are focused on the main objectives, et cetera. And sometimes it could be, external pressure, through expectations, through playing in Boston and media. So helping some of the newer guys and younger guys kind of navigate that. And we just focus on the work. We just focus on the day-to-day process. Focus on, trying to put our best foot forward and trying to be the best team that we could possibly be. I think chemistry building is going to be important. You can't just throw some guys out there and expect everything to work. So our habits are going to create our future and our success. We got to build some great habits during training camp. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about the journey. Say that again? I did not.
Three final questions, Taylor, Bobby, and then Kyle.
Kind of along those lines, you've expressed a desire to step it up defensively this season. Just in what ways do you want to try to set the tone in camp to help shift this team's defensive identity?
We've always had pretty good or great defensive teams since I've been here. And I think that, we want to keep that and maintain it. I think that's the emphasis. And, obviously with some of the additions that we got, I think that we'll continue to excel forward, but make sure that energy is being maintained. Personally, for me, I think that at different points in my career, I've been able to display my defensive ability, but not enough. I think that, when I'm dialed in and I made sure that I'm challenging myself, I think I could be one of the better defenders in the world. And that's something I'm challenging myself with. Meet more guys at the rim, make more plays, have more of a presence defensively. It's something that I'm looking to do. So I'm excited about the year in general. And I'm excited about our guys. I think we got an excellent group of guys, so let's do it.
Bobby, then Kyle.
Hey, Jaylen, how you doing, man? It's an old question, but let me ask it again, if I may. How was you and Jayson complement each other even better to get to the next level to reach the championship plateau? And also, how would Drew fit into that equation?
I think me and Jay, complement each other well. But I think we're more so focused on, what's in front of us. Obviously, everybody knows what our goal is, and everybody knows what the goal is. So we just need to make sure we don't skip any steps. We need to make sure that, we bring others along. We need to make sure that we hold each other accountable. We need to focus on the process more than the end result. And I think that's our strategy. I think that's what we're kind of focused on and looking forward to the most.
Jaylen, the league kind of changes the policies and approach to how they want the top 50 players to appear in games this season. Obviously, you're in that top 50 tier. Do you feel an obligation to be on the court for every game this season? And also, secondarily, secondly, Paris is roughly a year away now. Top 50 players. If USA Basketball calls and asks you to play, will you make that commitment to play for USA Basketball next summer?
I think that the league's approaching, trying to get players to play more. I think that's great. I think I try to play as many games as I possibly can. It don't always be the players. I'll say that. A lot of the time that's the narrative, is that it's the players that decide not to play. I won't go into it in detail, but that's not always the case. But I think trying to be out there and competitive and compete is better for an overall product. But it's better for our game and a fan experience as well. So I think that's a great thing. Playing in USA Basketball, I think, is no greater honor. I think playing for your country, there's definitely, coming from my community, coming from where I come from, coming from where majority of our demographic come from, having the opportunity to represent that, your community, your outer community, and the people that support you. I think that is a part of it as well. So being able to participate would be great.
Thank you, Jaylen.
Thank you.
Colorado Buffalo superfan and also member of the Boston Celtics, Derrick White. Abby, you really should be the one who has the first.
Should we sing like the fight song or something?
There's three of us in the room. I'm not going to sing on the microphone. I guess what has the last 24, 48 hours been like for you, finding out about the Drew trade and all of that, but also the summer as a whole and the huge shift that this locker room and team has gone through?
Yeah, obviously it was a big news. Adding a guy like Drew Holiday is going to do a lot of things for our team. I mean, through his whole career, he's done so much. I mean, he's a champion. He's done a lot of things. So adding him, I was super excited. I mean, obviously it's tough to see Malcolm and Rob leave. I mean, they were such big parts of our team last year, and great people, great players, and so it's tough to see them leave. But adding Drew is going to be exciting, and I mean, obviously the summer was so I was in Colorado most of it, so it was nice out there. But adding KP is another thing that's going to be big for us. Obviously, the same about Smart leaving is tough, but I mean, everybody that we've added, everybody that we brought in, I'm excited about it.
And how was the game in Boulder at Folsom and being in that suite with Jaylen and also Paul and KG and all those guys?
Yeah.
And then the game itself.
Yeah. I mean, CU is the place to be right now. It's exciting. I mean, it's always been fun going up there and watching the games, but there's definitely an added level of excitement and energy in Boulder right now, and it's cool. And I was happy JB wanted to go. I'm like, come on, let's go. And then obviously seeing KG and Paul there, I mean, it's just cool to see everybody there and supporting. And JB's now a Buff fan, so that's cool.
Derrick, I know Sam came and visited you, Sam Cassell, and worked out with you. What were some of the conversations you guys had getting ready for the year and things he told you about your role, or just, what kind of things he wants out of you this year?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to have him out there, get a chance to get to know him before the season starts. I mean, he was just saying that he's excited to work with me. That he liked my game, and so I was excited to work with him. Obviously, a great player and someone I can learn a lot from. So he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be the point guard. You gotta just try to lead the team." And so just finding the ways that I can do that, and just little things here and there that we worked on.
I know you were close with Ben Sullivan, worked with some guys on that old staff. What's it like transitioning to a guy like Sam and some of the new staff members you're going to be working with this year?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, me and Ben were real close last year. Worked with him a lot, and I wish him the best. I mean, I was excited for him and that opportunity he's getting in Houston. But I think we brought in a lot of smart and talented basketball coaches that I'm looking forward to learning from. Obviously with Sam and Charles, and just learning from them and all the little things that they've learned from when they played and what they've learned as a coach. So it's going to be a fun staff. I'm looking forward to it.
Derrick, we understand championships the goal at the end of the year. When you add a player that's won one, right? We make a big deal about it in the media. Hey, this guy's been there, done that. Do guys talk about that? Do they address that type of thing in the locker room?
I mean, we just seen Drew for the first time today, so we haven't talked about it yet. But I mean, obviously, someone that's played on that stage, has won on that stage. That's something that you can't really replace or replicate. And so having him on our team now is going to be good. He's going to just help us each and every day. And I mean, he understands what it takes to get over that hump, and that's what we keep talking about.
Few things. First, JB said you were going pretty hard at 10 in the morning before the game. Was he able to keep up? Go first.
Hey, man, the vibes were high. The vibes are high in Boulder right now.
Second, why did you decide to shave your head? And then third, Joe was talking about how last year he didn't really emphasize you have to play defense because he just assumed it was obvious. So with all the changes this team has made, and Jaylen talking about how there needs to be new voices in the locker room to step up, how do you want to step up in reminding everyone they have to play defense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying something new for your second question. But I mean, obviously, I would say we kind of lost our defensive mindset. We just wasn't talking about it as much, and that's obviously a big difference between the year before and last year. But definitely is going to be a big focus of our team this year, from top to bottom. I mean, it's cool to have like our top players that are going to be committed defensively, and then everybody else just kind of fall in line. So adding Drew, adding KP are going to help us as well. Obviously, Drew's been one of the best defenders in the league for his whole career, basically, and KP as a rim protector and doing what he does is going to be big for us. So from top to bottom, everybody's got to buy in and be committed to that side.
Yeah, you got a pretty good reputation in the league as a team-first guy, and I know that this just happened, but this is a guy who comes in who contractually and playing time-wise will be with you. I just want to know how you feel about with where your contract is and where your playing time is, a guy like Drew coming in basically at your position.
Yeah, man, I was excited. I mean, I've only heard great things about him. From everybody that knows him and talks about him, they've only heard great things. So adding a guy like that on the team, like, you can't be upset about it. I mean, contract-wise, I got 2 years left, so whatever happens with the extension talk, whatever happens, but I'm really just focused on the season, and I don't think it can change that much from what I was thinking about this whole offseason and in the way that I got to play and prepare. So adding him is going to be great for us.
It's Cedric from Probe Magazine. So last year, you guys seemed to like play at the level of your competition. How do you guys figure out changing that and playing above your competition this year?
Yeah, obviously you don't want to ride that roller coaster of the season. When it's a big game, you're up and ready to go, and you lose games that you probably shouldn't. I mean, this is the NBA; everybody can play, and so we got to have that mindset each and every game that we got to prove something. So that comes with just from top to bottom. Everybody's just got to be ready to go, whether you're tired, whatever injuries looking like that at that point in time. We just got to find a way to have that right mindset each and every game.
Questions for Svi?
Hey, Svi. When you found out you're becoming a Celtic, just what was your reaction? How excited are you? And just what do you think you can bring to this team?
I was really excited to be a part of something special with this group of guys, and just being part of Celtics organization. And for me, just coming in, obviously everybody know I can shoot the ball really well, so that's my main thing bringing to the table. But definitely, hard work, just play hard, be smart offense, defense, make right plays, and just be ready for every game.
Playing in a system like this where there's so much spacing, how much do you think that will help you even more with your shooting?
I feel like it'll help a lot, especially playing with JT, JB, and we got KP now, Derrick, Drew, those guys who can drive the ball really, really well, and guys like me, Sam, who shoot Payton, who shoot the ball really well. We just help to spread it out. So I feel like it'll be a good mixture of guys on the court that make it really hard for opposite teams to pick what they really want to do.
The process of coming here, were your bags packed for Greece? It was kind of a speculation you were headed to Europe to take a deal there, and then you got a call. Can you take us through that process? Were you about to go, or and what do you think of taking the Celtics offer?
Offers were on the table. I was just evaluating what was better for me, and where would I want to be. So yeah.
What's the lure about coming to Boston as opposed to probably making more money in Europe?
Yeah. Just like I was saying, just again, just being a part of something special. We have really good chances, and I feel like I'm still an NBA player, so I feel like I belong in the NBA, and just keep my journey.
Brad had said, some of the newer guys, some of the guys on the bench have been impressive so far. Who stood out most to you in some of the workouts so far through the summer?
I would say I knew a lot of guys, and as of right now, I feel like, for me, I feel like Payton was really, really good in the games, but I would say overall everybody just coming in, work hard, show their work ethic, and just being here really early just show how important it is to everybody.
And what kind of role do you think you could potentially compete for here? Does that conversation come up at all?
No, just whatever happens. Just come in training camp, do my best, and whatever coaches decide, that's what's going to be.
Steve, what was your impressions of Boston from afar, and then now that you've been here and working in the gym with these guys for a couple of weeks, how has that changed at all?
I don't think it's changed. My impression being great and still great, and I'm just happy excited here to be here and be part of this team and franchise, and just be a part of this group of people.
What are the keys to staying in rhythm with limited playing time and fewer touches than maybe you'd like?
I would say just put the work in every day, and I would say just the main thing: put the work in every day, come in every day, do what you do on the daily, your routine, and just be confident and just be prepared for your time to come.
So you said, obviously at the start, you shoot the ball really well, and that's what you bring to the table. Joe Mazzulla's offense emphasizes that. You got guys like Sam Hauser, Payton Pritchard. What are you looking forward to most of being a part of that system?
Just being helpful any way I can. Like you were saying, making shots and spreading the offense. Spreading the defense. But just be competitive. Play smart on defense. Play hard on defense. Trying to get loose balls and trying to bring value to the team.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Hello, guys.
Questions for Kristaps?
Hey, Kristaps, right in front. Welcome to Boston. Welcome to being part of the Celtics. What was your reaction when the deal went through and for you to be part of the Celtic? And now you're here today, about to tip off training camp, and we see you guys getting closer to the full unit, what you'll be.
Yeah, very excited. Yeah, the whole summer was I was just excited for what's coming. And being here now, being healthy to begin the season, it just gives me like extra motivation and extra fire to have a great year. And yeah, I'm very, very happy so far here. Been around 10 days or so, maybe a couple of weeks. And yeah, love the city, organization. Everybody has welcomed me with open arms. So yeah, excited for the season.
Yeah. Brad mentioned that you've been practicing and working out. How's your foot feeling?
Yeah, feeling great. No limitations. Just the medical staff did a great job of loading up slowly, and now as I'm getting close to the training camp, we start tomorrow, I'm perfectly fine and ready to go.
And if you've been able to get on the floor with Jaylen and Jayson, what's your impressions of them? How does it feel playing with those guys on the floor?
High-level players, high-level everything, decision-making, everything. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time before we find that rhythm on the court. And I think my game is going to complement their games so much. I'm going to try to open things up for them. And I know that's what's going to make my game also much more easier. So I'm looking forward to that.
Kristaps, you just said you're perfectly fine, no limitations, all of that. Can you explain the process of what did you first feel? How bad was it? What was the process of getting to this point? What makes you so confident that you're fine moving forward?
Yeah, so I think it started because I changed shoes during the summer, and I think that's what kind of got the foot a little bit sensitive. And I didn't pay too much attention to it. I kind of kept working out, kept playing because the training camp was about to start for a national team, and I was actually in great shape and feeling good. Just the foot was a little bit bothering me, so I told the medical staff, and they told me to rest for a few days, and we just couldn't get that much like progress in such a short time. So the smart decision was to sit out and make sure the foot actually gets to recover before I start the season. And that's what I did. It was a really, really tough decision. I know it may not seem for you guys like it was, but it was such a big deal for me not to be able to play for my country back in the World Cup. Really, like, hurt my soul. So, but I knew it was the right decision, And yeah, I'm glad I made that tough decision in that moment. And now I'm as I said, 100% to start the season.
Hey, Kristaps, how you doing, man?
Hello.
Last season, played 65 games. Was at this point in your career, was that a turning point for you to know that you had that, convince yourself you have that durability again?
Mm-hmm.
And you talked in the press conference here earlier in the summer. You talked about you're grateful to be with a championship contender.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just talk about that as well?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I definitely believe that I am in the right time in my career, as I'm kind of going into my prime at this age, and my body is much more mature than it was when I was 20 years old, and also I think I always kept in mind that the injuries that I had, the longer ones, kind of longer recovery ones, they were all like contact injuries, the ACL, it was always like, something happened and there was some contact. So I always kept that in mind and worked towards getting back to being healthy. And I think last season was a good example. I could have played 70 plus games last season. And I felt great. Throughout the year. I missed Most of the games actually I missed because I was sick, not because of injuries. So, and I expect that for myself again this season. Just being out there on the court, hopefully all the games. I know it's the medical staff is going to do their part and tell me when I can and when I shouldn't play. But I want to play out there every game I can, and I will make sure I do so.
Kristaps, obviously you signed an extension here, so you're very comfortable. This is a different role than you've had, though, in your career, where you've been at least always a secondary scorer. Where here, there's a lot of talented players, and another talented player was just acquired yesterday. So I just want to know how you see how that working for you, how you may have to change the way you play a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if much is going to change for me, honestly. Just being around really talented guys. I think also what we have to keep in mind is the ages, like most of us are in, and I think that makes a difference. I think everybody realizes that we just want to be on the same page and achieve the ultimate goal. We're gonna put our stuff to the side, or it's not what we're here for. And we're gonna figure it out. It's a lot of talent, a lot of players that can put up crazy numbers, and one night it's going to be Drew, one night it's going to be JT, whoever. All of these guys can score the ball, and for me it doesn't really matter as much. I think most important for me is that we find that rhythm as a group, and we work towards what we are brought here to do.
Kristaps, you came here, signed an extension, then you see Brad make a huge trade to go for Drew. So after seeing that move, seeing how all in the franchise is, how did that make you feel after already making that commitment?
Sorry, say that again.
The question is, I guess, how assured did you feel to see them making another huge trade after they already made a big trade for you?
Assured of what?
The franchise's commitment to go
of course, yeah, of course. I mean, this was clear, no? I mean, these guys already been super close for a while, right? And then adding myself, adding Drew now, it's clear what we're trying to achieve here, no? It's and that's why I said that's the only goal. And as Coach said in this morning's meeting, that we have to live that life. We have to live that life daily, and then that reality is very real.
And speaking of that trade, how does losing Robert Williams change your role? Playing center, playing next to Al a little bit now, maybe. How do you kind of see that changing your role?
I don't know. Good question. I don't know if that changes much for me. But we'll see. We have incredible, brains behind the roster, the players, So I'm sure the coaching staff and everybody else in the organization will figure out what's the most effective way for us to play and how and to be used. So we'll figure it out either way. But of course, it hurts. I've been here for 2 weeks and I already could see how Rob is that charismatic guy for this group. So it's definitely hurts for this organization that he's not here anymore. But yeah, we wish him nothing but the best.
Final two questions, Svi and then Jeff.
Kristaps over here on your right. Just wondering, what were those conversations like when you guys were talking the contract extension? What did the front office kind of say to you in terms of not just having you for this year but beyond as well?
Yeah, well, what was the question again? Sorry.
Contract extension.
Yeah.
What was the front office kind of telling you?
Yeah, no. I got here, and I don't know the exact timing. And of course, I wanted to be here long term, and hopefully, I'm here for a long time. But. Yeah, that was it. I didn't understand the question. Thank you.
Kristaps, how comfortable are you at the 5 now? I mean, obviously, when you came into the league, you were a lot lighter than you are now. How comfortable are you?
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, I love playing both positions. Yeah, I think it's a tough job for other 5s to guard me. We have very few like real post-up 5s. You know, it's probably Joel and Nikola, right? Are 2 guys that really post up and play that kind of game. But the rest of the league, you know, at the 5, I think the game is a little bit different. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I think defensively, I'm most effective if I can be around the rim and protecting the rim. And I think that's how I'm going to be used defensively, and offensively, I'll just find my game within what we're trying to do. Cool. Cool. Thank you.
Payton, you were very clear last year that you wanted to play, you wanted to get more opportunity. It seems like the moves that have been made so far this offseason will result in you getting that opportunity. So how are you feeling about what you're going to be able to bring this season?
I mean, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be a part of this team and, try to do something special. Gonna miss the players that we traded because I built relationships with them, learned a lot from them through my time here. But like you said, it's a good opportunity for a lot of us to, step up and show what we're capable of and how we can impact winning. So I'm looking forward to that.
Payton. You were able to be a part of the U.S. select team there. What was that experience like, and what do you felt like you got out of playing with the guys you did out there?
It was just a great experience. Get to go out there and compete with some of the best young talent in the league. So see where your game matches up, and I know a lot of guys have done it. So it's just it's a good confidence boost to go out there and see and show what you're capable of. Those guys.
And where through the summer do you think your game came the furthest? What was like the biggest thing you really focused on, honed in on?
Every area. So I'm just looking forward to it, and I guess you guys will see when we tip off. So find out then.
Payton, with all the changes that have gone on over the summer, how different is it inside the gym, and what can you kind of feel and sense?
I like the energy in the gym right now. Guys are working really hard. Guys are motivated, and we trying to do something special here this year. And right now our focus is just winning every game. We're not worried about everybody's dream and goal is to win a championship, and we know that is our goal. But right now we're just trying to focus on winning every game and preparing for every day. And I think we focus on that. That's what's going to help us get over the top.
You went for 92 a couple summers ago. What did you go? You played with Isaiah. What did you go for this summer in the Pro-Am?
I'm not sure. I think it ended up, 60 something, but it was just a fun little event. Get to play in the backcourt with IT, somebody I grew up admiring, looking up to, somebody that was, especially what he did here is special. So I don't know. Anytime you get to share the backcourt with somebody that you grew up watching is special.
And you've always played with a chip on your shoulder, having to prove yourself. Is that even more the case this summer, this year? I mean, just wanting to make that impact and gain, considerable minutes and just kind of a considerable role?
I just think that's how I am always. So I don't think anything's going to change like that. So I'm just, like I said, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to come out and playing and helping this team win. So, and showing what I'm capable of.
Last year when Malcolm came in, that kind of pushed you down the depth chart. You had to go through a whole year of not playing after so much progress. So what did you, learn about yourself, and how did that change you as an athlete and person going through that year? And now that the path is kind of clear for you again, how are you ready for it?
Actually, as hard as it was, and, the competitive nature in me, it was tough. But I definitely think I matured a lot through last year, not playing a lot. And, it's something you do your whole life. All of us, we play all the time. You're like the guy on the team, and then to for the first time in really your life, you're not gonna play. So it's a big change for us to experience that. And for me, I think I matured a lot, and that my game grew, but mentally I grew, and just in all areas. So, I just think it's now it's a long season. It's about balance, and it's finding your routine and rhythm in life. So.
And I know you play every day for 10 hours, no matter what. So since you weren't actually getting on the court, how did, practice and just the daily preparation change for you?
It was it's kind of like a redshirt year in college. I kind of knew I wasn't going to play unless guys were hurt. So I went to work, and I worked on the areas that I needed to get better at, and then I got better at the areas I already was good at. So, just tightening everything up. So then when my opportunity did come, and with this year, I truly believe I'll be ready for it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Payton.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Questions for Dalano?
Hey, Dalano. I know you have some ties to this area, going to high school out in Western Mass. Just what's it like being back here, and also just to be joining a team with such talent like this?
It's definitely great to be back. I spent 2 years in Mass during high school, my last 2 years. So we would come up to Boston. It was probably like an hour. We would come up to Boston every couple of weeks and sort of have play tournaments and like a lot of camps up here. So I did a lot of that in Mass. So it's great. But definitely joining a team with a lot of talent, definitely with going into the season with high hopes is definitely great. Every day is a grind. Every day it's building brick by brick, trying to do the best we can, trying to do that groundwork, that work we have to put in order for the end of the season when, we want the results we want. It's what we did now. It's what we did before training camp. So, definitely just going into it with that mentality right now and trying to make the best of every day.
And is it true, did you model some of your game after Rondo growing up?
Yeah, he was my favorite player growing up. He was the main person I watched. So yeah, definitely, I love facilitating. I love passing the ball. So.
Delano, with Malcolm gone, there is kind of an opportunity behind Drew, behind Derrick to get some minutes. What do you see as what you can offer to maybe take advantage of that opportunity?
Definitely just using versatility. Whether it's at that guard position or whether it's not, whether it's off the ball, I feel like just being tall, being versatile with my length, I could fill a void at many spots, possibly through the 1 through the 4. So just not with that 2 spots or just Malcolm being gone. I feel like just trying to be in the right place at the right time and, making it my goal to every possession counts, play as hard as I can, whether that's at the guard position, playing on ball, playing point. I feel like I can make an impact, whether that's screening for guys. We have a very talented team, so we have guys on our team who get the whole focus of the defense for the majority of the game. So, it's going to be a lot of times where a guy's on the floor, are they making shots, are they making the right reads? So a lot of times it's going to come down to that. So just definitely working on that, making the right play every time, I think will go a long way for me. Also, a lot of other guys on the team. So definitely making the right play. Taking pride on defense, trying to lock up, use my versatility to, guard guys on the other team. So definitely.
I know it's early, but how does some of the defenses you played up in Toronto kind of prepare you for what you might be doing here on that? And I don't know if you've had kind of those conversations yet.
Definitely playing for Coach Nurse in Toronto. I feel like he did a lot of mixing up of everything. Everything's on the fly. He switches it up, whether it's zone, man, full court, half court press. So I feel like it put me in a position to know a lot of different defenses. So I think playing for him and knowing the way that he coaches, how it's all on the fly, it's all switched up, I feel like that would put me in a good position for where I am at now, knowing that I'm going to have to come in and it could switch up just like that. And, that's what he's been doing. So I feel like that helps a lot. But definitely just with the people we have here, very transparent with me. Telling you if you don't know, make sure you know. Because, like I said, it's every game matters, every night matters, every practice matters. So it's not a thing where if you don't know something, if you're on defense and you're a little mixed up about what's going on, it's we want you to know here. They want us to know. They need us to know so that we can execute what's asked of us.
Where do you think your game came the furthest this summer? What did you really focus on?
Definitely jump shooting. I feel like I put in a lot of hours, a lot of reps on my shot. Definitely, but playing for a new team, you want to figure everyone out. So I just working on a lot of reads that we'll be doing throughout the games, where I can help. Setting guys screens and playing as a roller as well, getting guys the mismatches they need, getting guys the switches they need. So definitely a lot of things, man, but a lot of game reads. Just trying to make the right play every time, I think, is a big thing that I harped in on this summer and trying to continue to do that as well as jump shooting.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Luke, just wondering how it feels to no longer be the tallest player on the team.
Yeah, I've played with KP before, and when he first got back here, it was definitely, I don't know. It's always a little staggering for me to see someone taller, and KP is quite significantly. So it's great to have him back, and yeah, he's a lot of fun to play with. So yeah, a little bit. We had Taco a couple years ago, so that was one thing, but yeah, now it's KP.
And just a player with his skill set, what do you think he can add to the team, and how much are you looking forward to playing with him?
Yeah, he's a great player. He's incredibly skilled offensively as a shot maker, and I feel like, especially in recent years, he's just gotten better and better at kind of having counters to things that are going to be ways people try to guard him. He's gotten better at drawing fouls, and obviously, like, just defensively as a rim protector. Yeah, I mean, he's just a very complete player and a very intelligent player, and I think he adds like a lot of really great skills for our team, and yeah, it'll be great to be playing with him again.
Hey, Luke, how you doing?
Good.
What was the kind of reaction of the team, mood of the team after losing Rob, losing Marcus, just kind of conversations you guys had about some of the big changes that went on this summer?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of time just like letting all those things settle down, I feel like, and you realize that you're going to miss having those guys as teammates and having them around. And I think there's definitely like a time where you just got to let that process kind of take its time. And I think everyone's really ready to kind of get going in the season and a little excited about the different opportunities and looks and abilities that we now have. So, yeah, having a lot of our new guys and KP and Drew, and we have a lot of new faces around, which I think, yeah, just provides a level of energy. And I think we're really doing a great job of laying a foundation even in the past month or so of workouts. And, yeah, we're excited to kind of all challenge ourselves and adjust and find new ways to play and find more successful ways to play and to be able to compete every night.
I don't know if you saw it. Kristaps started doing the Kornet contests last year. Did he say anything about that to you?
We have not talked about it yet. I know that there's some sort of, I know there's some like piece or something written about it, but somebody had sent me during the year. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of taking its own course, and I just am hands off at this point and just letting it happen. So, if it works, it works, and whatever it helps for us to win, we'll find the things to do so.
Where do you feel like you improved the most this summer?
I feel like I've really just kind of gained a lot of like confidence in my game, and I really so much for me. I feel like it's getting my body in the best position that it can for the season, and then I think also just I've been working on kind of being a better finisher around the rim and more dynamic finisher in that kind of respect. But I feel like so much of what I generally try to bring, is just from a physical and energy perspective, and then the mental side of the game. And I think a pretty interesting part of that will be with KP and Drew and some of the new guys we have, of getting used to playing with them and seeing kind of what the best positions I can help put them in for us to be very successful. So I think it definitely changes a lot, and it'll take some time on the court of just figuring that side of things out to really see how I can best fit it. I feel like a lot of times my skills are just trying to make our best players even better and just kind of put everyone in a good position. So there'll definitely be a process of figuring that out and seeing what works best for guys when they have the ball or in their scoring opportunities.
And while losing Rob is bittersweet, do you look at it as an opportunity for you to carve out more consistent playing time?
Frankly, I don't really look at my role ever as in looking out for myself and minutes or anything like that. Even I really committed to it in the last couple of years, and starting with my time in Maine 2 years ago. It's just it is all about winning. It is about whatever it takes. And so really just the only thing that I feel like changes for me significantly is how I prepare for games. And there's a different kind of preparation between whether you're expecting to not play or play 10 minutes or play 30 minutes in terms of what your team needs to be able to win that night and win over the course of the season. So, frankly, I really don't look at that news in that way at all. I will miss Rob being here, but my perspective on whatever I can do to help our team win really doesn't change if I'm the only center available or if there's 10 centers on our team, except for like how to go about doing it. Yeah.
Luke, I know this is Boston and the goal is to win a championship every year, but has there been any sort of shift or has that gone to another level after the moves that were made this summer and the commitment that has been made by the front office and ownership?
I wouldn't really say so in terms of how it feels for us as players and coaches, just because I think our mindset and perspective is so much on just like, frankly, winning the day and winning the practice and winning the game and allowing ourselves to get better. And I think obviously there'll be parts of adjusting to, like the new teammates and stuff like that. But I don't think you really, you become great by winning the day at hand and what you can do with that opportunity that you have. And I think that's kind of where our minds are at. It's focused on today and it's focused on our first practice tomorrow. And then the rest of it will kind of take care of itself.
Thank you, Luke.
No problem.
Oh.
All right, questions for Jordan. Start with Taylor.
Hey, Jordan. How would you describe just your excitement level heading into your first season and what's been like being with the guys in the gym over the last couple weeks?
I mean, I'm super excited. It's a dream come true to be able to play in the NBA, especially along guys like Tatum, Brown, Al, KP, Drew. It's been an amazing experience thus far to have guys like Brown and Tatum to come in early in the summer and work out with us is even like more. It speaks to the pride of the game, and like it sets a foundation for discipline for I feel like the whole organization to see a guy like that in their early summer. Like it really sets an example for a guy like me who's coming in for the first year.
What are some of the main things that you've been working on over the summer to improve?
I mean, a little bit of everything. A big focus right now is getting stronger, so I can be able to, guard bigger, stronger guys, obviously, but also just being able to shoot the ball and make shots, especially wide open. Being able to open up the floor for guys like Tatum and Brown while they're on the ice or whatever. My man is scared to help because if he hits me, I'm gonna hit the shot. So that's kind of like the big focus.
Jordan, for you, well, two things. One, has it been kind of a whirlwind of this is what basketball being a business is like when you see all of a sudden trades and things happening around you? And two, for you right now, who's the guy you feel comfortable kind of going to and talking to and listening to, and when you're looking for leadership this early on?
For sure, Al. I was talking to him before Poly draft night. I was texting with him talking about, I think I'm going to be a Celtic. Like, I'm excited to come work out with you. And, I mean, to have a guy like him to give me advice, he's been in it for so long. And he's, still at the top of his game. So there's so much to learn from him. I was joking with him earlier. We were talking about when he was going to college. I wasn't born yet. And I was like, now we're teammates. So it's amazing. I've talked to him about other stuff. Of course, basketball, but also off the court stuff, like what suit should I wear to this gala, stuff like that. So he's been a mentor for sure. Obviously, Drew just got here, so I'm excited to talk to him and pick his brain on the NBA. But yeah, it is, like you said, the first question, it is a business and things can change, in the blink of an eye. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm still here for sure.
Jordan, what's the summer been like? You're still 19. What's it like to try to find a place to live, get used to a new city, work out, try to have fun with your friends and family, like balance all of that into your first year in the NBA? You're still a quote-unquote kid. I mean, you're still a young man, and take it serious, but not too serious to where you enjoy the process.
For sure. It's a lot that goes into it, especially moving to a new city on the opposite side of the country almost. I'm from Dallas, so it's a big move. It's a colder city out here for sure. But it's a lot. It's a lot to do, of course, moving into a house, finding a car, trying to figure out all these different things. But that's why we have people like Al and people like Tatum, or maybe not even players, people like Candace, who can, kind of guide me and help me and kind of be my family while I'm here, because I don't have family out here. So for them, they're kind of navigating me through this process, helping me more off the court than on the court, but still on the court stuff. But they're helping me navigate it well, and they're being my second family, my second home. So it's the process, the transition has been smooth.
Has there been a movie or a reference you've had to learn that you said you weren't even born yet, that you've been assigned to learn, or something like that to relate to Al or relate to older people?
Yeah. Me and Al were talking about this last night, actually. So first, they told me I don't have my black card because I didn't know what Friday was. So I went and watched the first one. Then I watched Boys in the Hood. And Al told me I need to watch Godfather 1 and 2. And he was like, yeah, they're old, they're long, but they're so good. And I was like, okay, bro, whatever you say, Al, like I'm gonna invest. So yeah, he was like, once you get that, then you can come talk to me again. And I was like, all right, I'll watch it tonight, Al.
Do you get any movie recommendations for Jordan while we're here?
New Jack City.
All right, New Jack City.
What is the connection with Al? How did you know him before that process?
So my mentor, Charlie Villanueva, was good friends with Al, and so he kind of like gave me his number and introduced us, and was like, "Yo, he's probably gonna come to Boston. You should probably talk to him, take him under your wing because Al's a good guy." And I was like, Al Horford, he's talking about. He's been in here for a while. He's getting buckets, playing well. I'm like, yeah, I want to learn from him for sure. Cause I want to be doing this when I'm as old as he is for sure.
So far, the movie recommendations on point. How has it been, the adjustment going from the college game to summer league, and then now having all of these guys in the gym and competing at that level?
For sure, it's definitely a difference. Obviously, I haven't played in a real live NBA game yet, but from college to summer league, it's a difference, and then from summer league to our scrimmages in like here are different. So it's kind of like an adjustment for each situation. But now that I'm here playing with like Tatum and Brown, like it doesn't look the same as it does when I was in summer league when I was in college. Now I'm trying to find ways to get them open, find ways to get them their shot off. Where in summer league I was shooting a lot. In college I wasn't really as much, but it's a difference, and I'm trying to learn to be, successful in each different situation.
Going back to summer league, you guys played quite a bit of zone during the summer league. What was that like playing for Tony? And why do you think you guys kind of experimented with that a little bit?
It was fun. It was my first experience at kind of like an NBA level like games. So I enjoyed it. Obviously, I had some teammates. I met some people there. It was in Vegas, obviously. But yeah, I got to meet a lot of people. Got to hang out with them in the hotel. We talked basketball, watched film together, ate together. So it was cool to meet those guys and be able to play a game with them, as well as still knowing that, hey, this is our first time together. Like, let's enjoy this game. Like, we're going out here to win, but let's still enjoy the game. Let's enjoy each other's presence and play to win the game. So everybody was kind of bought in on winning. It was a fun experience, and I'm looking forward to it again if I play in Summer League again.
Have you talked to teammates about preparing for a role where you're coming off the bench and you're not playing as much as you're accustomed to, not only in college, but your whole life?
Yeah, it's been a conversation I've had with a couple of guys. And, for me personally, like, I know that I have to buy my time, and I know that's a process for me. Like, I know that I understand that I might come here my first year and not play. Like, I've already accepted that, but as long as I feel like I'm taking strides to becoming a better player in the future, I feel like everything's going to shake out. I feel like my whole life I've been grinding to get better, and I feel like if I keep taking that route, everything's going to keep getting better like it has been.
Thank you, Jordan.
Cool. Thank you.
encouragement from a colleague.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Questions for Sam?
Sam, you took a big step in your role last season. Just what have you been working on this summer to take another step?
Yeah, just fine-tuning what I do well, and then trying to expand off that and show what else I can provide to the team and what value I can bring on both sides of the ball. So I'm just trying to overall just improve as a player.
What's the excitement level been like in the gym for the last couple of weeks? Just with all the new additions and everything, what's it been like?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we've obviously lost some guys, which never is fun, but sometimes that's just the way the business is. And but the competitive level in the gym the last couple of weeks has been really high, leading into training camp. So I think everyone's really excited to get going tomorrow.
So I mentioned some of the new additions, a lot of wings coming in, Oshae, Svi, some of those guys. What's it been like just being out there competing with those guys? And, do you kind of see it as like, I got to, defend my spot here, my minutes, my role?
Yeah, of course. I think nothing is given in this business. You have to earn everything, and that's nothing new to me. It's kind of been my whole basketball career, just trying to earn and continue to grow as a player. So I think with more guys coming in, I think it's just even more motivation to get better and show what I can do for our team.
And what has stood out most about some of those newer guys?
They come from different teams. They bring a different perspective on certain things. So I think they're also really good players. So I just think getting different perspectives on what they see versus what I see is always good. So things like that.
Sam, you last season you had a dip where you went from hitting everything to kind of struggling, and then you went back to kind of hitting everything. What went into that dip, and what can you do this season to maybe be a little bit more consistent and avoiding something that's so like a little prolonged?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know, sometimes you just make and miss as a shooter, and honestly, a lot of it is probably attributed to that. I think every player, at least at one time throughout the season, hits a lull. And it could be one game, it could be 15 games, it could be 30 games. And for me, it was a good 2 months, so pretty long. But I stuck to my routines. I came in every day, showed up, put the work in, and it came back around. And I worked through the lull, and turns out nothing was really wrong. It just kind of the shots were going in as opposed to not going in.
Other questions for Sam? Okay, thank you, Sam.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
I bet I can guess what you're going to ask me.
Go for it then. I won't even ask it.
Spent a lot of time with Paul Pierce this summer, which was great. He was really motivated. Paul actually lost 15 to 20 pounds, and it was about 4 weeks. He came to the gym every day, and it was cool to have him around. Told us a lot of stories about championship team, a lot of things that can try to help apply to this year. And hopefully we see a lot more of Paul. Was that one of them?
That's it. Thank you. No, I was also going to ask you about Drew too. Drew Holiday, your thoughts?
I was about to say that next. Excited about Drew, one of the most well-respected guys in the league. Great talent on both ends. Champion. We won a gold medal together. Happy to have him. Sad about, Malcolm and Rob. You spend so much time with guys and over 1 year or 5 years, right? And then one day they just, on a different team. It's tough because there's a lot of genuine, emotions and relationships with that. Same thing with Kristaps and that trade. Excited to have him. He adds a length to the team. Obviously, he can stretch the floor. His versatility, especially on the offensive end, protect the rim. But it was tough to see Grant and Smart leave. I spent my entire career thus far with Smart. That's somebody I thought I might have, played my entire career with. He was, the most beloved Celtic that we had on his team, the heart and soul. And, it's just going to be different not having him here, different on the court, different in the locker room. He was a big part of the culture. And same thing with Grant, It's going to be a little less quiet now, but I'm excited for him, his new deal, much deserved, and, new role that he was going to have. I'm happy for those guys, but, going to miss them for sure.
Jayson, on the wrist injury you've dealt with the last couple of years, now you met with some specialists and, looked into surgery. Can you explain the decision that went into not undergoing surgery and kind of where that's at going into this year?
Yeah, just got a bunch of second, third, and fourth opinions. Surgery wasn't a common one, so, wasn't all the way certain about it, but, did all the right things this summer. Took all the right measures, I guess, to make sure I was healthy and prepared to come into the season, with no distractions.
And you and Jaylen both said over the summer you want to make the all-defensive team. What's it going to take for both of you to get to that level?
Just that consistency, night in and night out. We'll have to win. We're going to have to be one of the best defensive teams. And, all those things we're capable of doing that. And, we just got to have attention to detail every single night on that side of the ball.
Jayson. Check. Jayson. You had some comments recently about feeling more connected to Boston. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. When I got here, I was 19, fresh out of college. I was starting in a new career, on a new team. I was, Deuce was going to be born in a few months. So it was a lot. And it was different. Like, I chose to go to Duke. I didn't necessarily choose Boston. So I always identified as, much more with St. Louis and with Duke, which I, feel is fair. But, when I think about it, I've spent almost 7 years here. Bought my first house in Boston, bought my first car. My son has grown up in Boston. So many great memories. A lot of relationships that I've built, in the organization and outside of the organization, people in Boston. And I think just over time, I would say I've more and more felt as, like I was a part of the city of Boston, you know, rather than I did my first few years, just being so young and things like that.
What have you learned in 7 years that's unique or different than other NBA cities about Boston?
I mean, I haven't played for any other teams, but, you know, I great deal of appreciation for the fans, for the support, through the ups and through the downs. There's no, even when we travel and play on the road, you know, our fans are truly the best. And, you know, even when I see people, you know, on the street, at a restaurant, at a gas station, the pride that they have about the city and about us, and it's mutual. And I really appreciate the people in the city of Boston.
Real quick, we see a lot of the heavy lifting, bulking up. What led to you going into the heavy lifting and trying to gain weight? Was there a situation or a moment where you said, you know what, I got to put on some more muscle, a little more weight?
I mean, I've always lifted heavier in the summer than I do in the regular season. I guess I have set some personal records in the weight room this summer, but, you know, not like that much more than I did last season or last summer. I have put on like 12 pounds. And I think part of that is, you know, I'm getting a little older and my body is maturing. You know, I might lose some weight when the season starts, just when we start playing 4 times a week. I think, you know, I've just gotten a little bit bigger every year, and I've gotten a little bit older. So I think those go hand in hand.
Jayson, you said before, leadership-wise, you're just going to be who you are. You're not going to try to be more vocal. Do you need to be more vocal with Marcus gone and Grant? Obviously, 2 vocal guys. Do you need to be the leader of this team? And how much pressure do you feel now that Drew's here, that it's championship or bust over the next year or 2, that's kind of completes your mission?
Yeah, you know, my voice, my presence is felt. And during the games, huddles, locker room, practice, film, I speak up. You know, everybody may not see it. It may not be the loudest. But, you know, I speak my mind. I listen to guys, and, you know, guys listen to me. So it's a mutual respect thing. And is it pressure? Yeah. I mean, we got a really good team. We got really good players. People expect us to get to the championship and win, and we don't. You know, we didn't necessarily meet expectations. It's a handful of teams each year that, you know, realistically can probably win the championship, and we're in that mix. You know, so, you know, that's what we're aiming for, and that's what we should be aiming for.
JT, in these last few years since you've established yourself as like an all-star, Brad has made like trades kind of around the core, but it hasn't really blown up the core. And then this summer he's made 2 huge trades. So I guess for you, what has it been like seeing kind of how big of an overhaul there's been to the roster?
It's been quite the change. You know, a lot of new faces, a lot of new coaches. But, you know, I think, you know, we brought in good guys, you know, guys that, great people, great teammates, obviously talented in their own right, in their own position. And I think just surrounding guys that fit with each other, that complement each other, and all have the same goal in common, and try to win. And I think, you know, they've done a really good job of that, and I'm excited about the team that we have.
Jayson, you lost Rob and Grant, so there's a little bit of you're a little thin in the front court. You lost Smart and Brogdon, obviously getting Drew, but there's still a little thin in the backcourt. You're obviously an all-NBA player, so you do a lot. But do you feel pressure that you're going to have to do a little bit more? You're the biggest guy on the team. Do you need to do more on the rebounding side, even more? Do you need to do more ball handling? Do you need to spread yourself out even more this season?
Yeah, but that's, you know, we should all feel like we got to do a little bit more because we didn't win, right? So whatever we've done has been great, but it hasn't been enough. So for myself on down the line, everybody has to sacrifice or be willing to do more, whether it's going from 8 rebounds a game to 11, whatever it is. You know, we all got to be willing to do more because we haven't, you know, accomplished what we're trying to do. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more, and so should everybody else.
Jayson, there's a lot of collective playoff experience in the locker room over the course of the last 5, 6, 7 years. How valuable is championship experience that gets tossed into the locker room now at the addition of Drew?
I think it's very important. I'm certain that we can learn a lot from Drew, being on a team that, you know, won the championship and that had to face a lot of adversity. You know, I remember Giannis got hurt in the playoffs. They were down 0-2 in the finals and came back and won. So I'm certain there's a lot that, you know, we can learn from Drew. You know, on the court, stuff that they had to overcome and off the court. So, you know, looking forward to, you know, having him on this team, what he brings, you know, as a player and as a person.
I have two, I'm sorry. You've been talking about it, but is there an even greater sense of urgency? Do you feel like after all the changes and everything that has gone on this summer, and I know that the goal is always to win a championship, but does it feel that there's another level this season?
Yeah. It was at a 10 out of 10 last year. It's on a 10 out of 10 this year. It's what we're trying to do. And we all feel that way.
And then have you seen any differences in Joe from year 1 to year 2 as we go in?
I feel like he's just a little bit more comfortable, right? You know, this time last year was new for all of us. And I think Joe did a hell of a job, you know, managing all of that, managing the expectations, managing being in a new role so quick. He had a hell of a first year, you know, in my eyes. And I think now having time to prepare properly as a head coach for the upcoming season, and, you know, taking ownership of, you know, just being his team and him being the head coach. You know, I think I'm not saying he wasn't comfortable. I just feel like he's a lot more comfortable and confident, you know, heading into this year.
Thank you, Jayson. Questions for Oshae? Nothing? All right, cool.
Hey, Oshae, just what drew you to signing with the Celtics in the first place, and what excites you about being a part of this team?
It was really that first day of your free agency. Once I got the call from Brad and Joe, I felt just a sense of excitement on their end. And, you know, to me, that's very, like, refreshing, you know, hearing a winning team excited that, you know, I was available to be a potential Celtic, you know. And when I was talking to them, it wasn't really – I just felt they were very authentic with what they were saying. And to me, that goes a long way. You know, you don't want to be sugarcoated anything or told one thing, and then during the season it looks a different way. But, you know, they made it very clear that, you know, we have a good team. We're not we don't need star players. We have star players. We want guys like you who could come in and, you know, make a quick change or add what we feel like we've been missing. And to that point, I just felt, again, that sense of excitement on their end. And, you know, being a Boston Celtic, you grow up watching the Celtics. You grow up always hearing about the Celtics. So that really stood out to me that it was here where I got that first call from.
And also, Oshae, just being in the gym last couple weeks with the guys, just what's your impression of this environment overall?
Winning environment, honestly. Having our stars here working out and playing and really contributing to the summer work and grind, I think that goes a long way. For myself, I'm entering my 5th year in the NBA, so I've seen different stuff like with the stars and the gyms, but I feel like it really helps the younger guys. Rookies seeing, JT, JB, Porziņģis all have been here doing their work. I think that stuff really helps because it shows that we're not just focused on games or playing. Those guys are really focused on building a family unit here because they know it goes a long way.
Hey, Oshae. You had to sit out World Cup, Team Canada with the knee injury. How did that come about, and what was kind of the process of saying, all right, we're going to sit out of this?
So I'm clear this right now. It was not my knee.
Okay.
Knee is fine. Been fine.
What was it?
It was my hamstring. My hamstring got really tight. And my hamstring and my quad were just tight. I just didn't feel like it was the right time to go play games, especially being overseas. It's tough to attend to anybody during kind of like a season, during a couple games for me. That's what I felt, and I just felt the right move was to go back to Phoenix where I work out with all my trainers and my PT guys and just feel better for this. This is my main focus. Obviously, I want to be with Team Canada next year. Again, that's my plan, my goal to be with them in Paris. But I just felt I wanted to feel 100% ready for training camp, and I didn't know if I'd be able to get that if I went and played with Team Canada overseas.
And where are you feeling at physically right now?
Oh, I'm great. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to rock.
Any other questions for Oshae? Right? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Yes, sir.